It is Friday, March the 16th, 2012, and I'm parked here opposite Trinity Anglican Church in Port Credit. And the services have been completed for Councillor Carmen Corbasson. And I won't give a complete rundown of everything that happened and everything that I witnessed. I think what I'd rather do at this point is just introduce the eulogy given by Councillor Corbasson's close friend and colleague, Councillor Nando Iannicca. Councillor Iannicca gave a superb speech and goodbye. And I beautifully summarized, just to perfection, what Councillor Corbasson represented. He basically said it was just the best that we as citizens could hope for in someone who represents us.
Reverend Judy, thank you. My thanks also to Lisa, Julie, Sebastian, and the family. And I've been given a handful of privileges in my life, but none greater than the one that I have now on behalf of all of my council colleagues, to express some thoughts about my friend Carmen Corbasson. Kind, compassionate, caring, comforting, consoling, civil, sympathetic, empathetic, loyal, selfless, proper, classy, dedicated, hardworking, committed, respectful, humble, intelligent, wise, forgiving, grateful, vibrant, humane, nurturing, loving. And if you're like me, you're going over the list that I missed, because that described Carmen Corbasson, the Carmen that we all knew. I had the privilege of first meeting Carmen in 1988 when I was elected a very young member of council. And amongst the many blessings in my life, two of them were my executive assistant, Brenda Robertson, and Carmen, who were the executive assistants at the time. Carmen, of course, for Harold Kennedy. And they were both caring, compassionate, and they were the older sisters that I never had. They were a real tempering influence. And you need people like Carmen and her tempering influence when some of the other people around the table are the likes of me and everyone else and others. And she was that. She was our steady-handed counsel. I remember one of her most endearing traits was anytime we met Carmen, her first question was, "How's your family? How's everybody doing?" And she meant it sincerely. She took on a great fondness for my wife, Aunt Marie, who also loved her dearly, and would remark that I've married very well in life. And I agree. And it was interesting to me in looking at Carmen and some of the attributes that my wife has as well. She also had some French descent in her. I don't know if you knew that. And she also had some Russian descent in her. And she reminds me of another character that lived in my work. You may remember the Duchess Olga, who was part of the Russian royal family and lived in Ward 7 on Camilla Road. And the reason she brings Carmen to mind is she had that same noble pedigree, but a very humble demeanor. And that was our Carmen. I remember another day where we were sitting in the council chamber, and much to a lot of people's surprise, the end of the council, any special announcements, and Councillor Kennedy said, "Yes," in his inimitable way, "I will not be seeking public office again." And we were somewhat surprised. But when it concluded, I marched up the stairs and I went right to Carmen's office. And I said, "Carmen, do that for Mr. Harold. What witness a wonderful opportunity for you." She was befuddled. She was shocked. As opposed to the politics that we're used to today, where is opportunity? What can I get out of this? She was, what can I possibly bring? How can I serve? Am I worthy? And she carried it for all her years as a public official. She really was in many ways an anomaly of public life because she is what people would hope politicians aspire to be, and the system didn't corrupt.
Iannicca nailed that dead on. He's absolutely right.
Carlson said very well, he said she was a dove in a sea of hawks. was our Florence Nightingale. She was the kindly, most loving nurse you could hope for, that said there may be war, but can we have peace as well? And it's what she brought to the table more than anything. In that regard, I have another interesting anecdote for you. It is remarkable to think that I was given the privilege to be a pallbearer, and as I'm performing that service, I went alongside our MP now, Brad Budd, and ex-husband Bill. You know, it's remarkable. They say that if you want to test a measure of a woman or a man upon their death, have their foes or their enemies speak to their character, to what they like. We would, but we can't find it. So it is that former political adversaries and an ex-husband are pallbearers at your funeral. You don't see that on reality television. In terms of moving forward, the last thought that I leave with you, a couple of thoughts. I remember it was just before Christmas, and Carmen and I were having lunch, amongst others, and she knew that this surgery was coming forward. Had been pending, let's say, for a while. And to Julia, to Lisa, to Sebastian, I've never told you this, but I will share it with you now. All she could think about was not the surgery in and of itself as it related to her. It was, I hope it all works out. I hope I come up 100% together for my girls, for Sebastian, for my grandchildren. And that's what I'm really concerned about. And of course, like consultants, everything will be fine. But even at that moment where most of us would be wondering what the operating room looks like and you have every right to be selfish, she was not. She thought of others. My final words, I hope are some words of comfort to a dear friend. You know, it's an interesting phenomenon in life again that I probably knew Sebastian and Carmen longer than anybody in the room. And in fact, I'll take some credit, I think, for having introduced them. Sebastian is one of my very dear friends, along with Carlo, who's here today, and with Mr. Italiano Dominic, who became known as the Three Amigos during her first election campaign. And then Carmen struck up quite a relationship, and Carmen, as you know, Sebastian was your soulmate, was your partner. And trying to comfort Sebastian, and me and I had him over to the house with some of his friends, and you can appreciate that the first thoughts are shock that we all had. Then they turned to anger, and Sebastian said something very interesting. He said, wouldn't the world be a better place if everybody had a little bit of Carmen? Question. Then your thoughts turn to anger and say, why? Why does God take the good and others? In looking back at that, the thought that I leave with you, Sebastian, is this. I think, and this isn't politics and it isn't the rhetoric of a politician, the thought that I leave with you with, and all of you with, is let's flip that coin and say, what a blessing that we had her. Many others did not, and will never have a friend like that. And to you, Sebastian, you are the man you are because of Carmen. To her daughters, the legacy that she leaves behind and her children. So let's rejoice in her life. God wants good people. He just took one, and let's hope and trust that she quite deservedly rests